All right, let's talk about the kick out block, the H back, as I call him for hybrid. We call it a J block because it looks like a J block when you draw it up. It We align the H, the sniffer. The priority is on alignment because if he's too far out, then he loses his inside leverage. And he can be so far in that he has to travel so far. So what we really like, it's somewhere between, depending on the H, somewhere between just inside the tackle's foot or sometimes even splitting the outside foot of the guard. We've done that where you just take him and say, put your crotch about 1 yard behind the outside heel of your guard. And that gives you a good angle to get out there and kick out, J block that defensive end. He can be too wide. He can be too tight. It's kind of like Goldilocks. You got to be just right. Okay. But the play side B gap is kind of our starting point, our default, either somewhere just inside the tackle's inside foot, as far as we've done them as tight as crotch splitting the outside heel of the guard. So we teach our H to step up with the outside foot first, okay, and then straight ahead, and then step up with the inside foot and push off the inside foot out to kick out that defensive end, M-loss, outside backer, whatever he is, okay, and that we do this so he can maintain an inside-out relationship. Remember, if he's too far inside, he can still make a block. If he's too far outside, he's screwed. And then your offense and your play is screwed. So we teach upfield or inside head placement so you don't lose him inside. Okay? It's exactly the opposite of the down block. You want your head upfield, okay, so you don't lose him inside. Where on the down block, you want your head where you don't lose him on the inside. So it's exactly the opposite. If we lose him upfield, just stay with him and push him on upfield, and then you still got football play. But when he makes contact, he's got to keep those feet moving, if nothing else, to get a stalemate. We've still got a football play if he gets a stalemate. Okay, but if he hits dead feet, get you beat. So if he hits and his feet stop, and that DN or linebacker, that M-loss is pushing him in and pushes him into the hole, we don't have play. So you got to keep those feet moving and at least get a stalemate, and we've still got a chance. But if you get pushed back because of dead feet, then it's blowing the play up. So keep your feet moving once contact is made, and then work the inside hip up the field, just like the down blocks work their outside hip up the field, so you don't lose him inside. Okay? All right, a little bit more on the H, and I've got a couple of diagrams to show you here. We don't want to pin or log. If we wanted to run outside in the C gap or the D gap, we would run buck, okay? So we don't want to pin and log a squeezing / spilling defensive end. We want to kick him. And if we can't kick him, we got something for him. Now, you look at film study, they got a boar dog playing 5-tech. And your H is not the best blocker in the world. A good play is our power read. Everybody is blocking the same, okay, except the H is going to whiff, and he won't even take the same steps. He'll go right at the DN like he's trying to kick him. Make that DN, he's a great spiller and squeezer, and he sees the down block and this H coming right at him, and he squeezes down inside. You don't even get close to him, to step right at him, let him squeeze, turn out, and kick that. And then the quarterback is going to read that DN. Okay, watch. See what I mean? This is, again, it's really good versus an odd front. Those guys that are they get in a 4 and they squeeze really well, or they do a lot of pinching. Okay, and if he goes inside, the quarterback's going to disconnect and keep it right here, and your H has whiffed and come out to here. Well, what if it's a really well-coached team, Chip? And when this guy squeezes, the stack backer reads cloudy here and clear here, so he's coming here. There you go, right here. Same play. That's where you got to teach that guard, maybe have a call, say, hey, listen, we're not blocking the DN. If he squeezes, you keep going. You got to get that backer no matter what. You got to get that backer no matter what. Okay? So when he squeezes down in here and the quarterback disconnects on the power read, It's the same football play. It's just instead of blocking the DN, we're reading it. And that's one of the philosophies of my offense, the way I like been doing it for several years now. If you can't block them, you better be able to read them or trap them or kick them. But if you can't do that, you better be able to read them. And so that's what you're doing right here. Okay? When he comes right, you got to get that guard. Say, oh, I'm not blocking the end. Keep shuffling out and get there for that well-coached team where if the end squeezes, the backer is replacing him right here and your quarterback's keeping it. And your H, the end thinks, I just beat this block. And he goes out here and just walls off this cat right here. Okay? You got to coach that OG what to do versus a cloudy, clear spill. Okay? That pulling guard. Watch it right here. This is a good job. Here's your guard. Going to pull right here. Quarterback is going to read number 44. Now, this is versus an even front. Really, I think it's an odd front, and what they did, they just slid it. What I mean by that, their base front was an odd front, and they just slid it this way and walked this backer up. We're going to read him. Watch the H. Boom, just wall him off right there. See? Same football play. And that's what we call a power read. We just gap down backer on the inside, leave the end alone, read him. All right, now this is some H-back kick out drill. Again, you just line your H's up, put one H here, and this is a never. You never go right at him. Okay, now I've debated that with coaches, and I say debate because I'm not going to argue football with anybody because there's more than one way to skin a cat and whatever. There's been guys that have done things that I knew wouldn't work for me, and they won a bunch of football games doing it. Okay, so, but if teach them to step up with the outside foot, step up with the inside foot, push off the inside foot, and attack the inside number, the inside hip of the M-loss, the end man on the line. Okay, if he runs upfield, great. It's an easy block. Okay, if he squeezes, you still try to kick him. What we've done here, we've told him, said, listen, we're running power. You've got to get him. What that means is now that the guard and the back have to bounce outside. So we're playing against somebody that this guy is really good at squeezing and spilling the play. Well, we're not going to beat our heads up against the wall. We're going to run the power read that I just showed you on the previous slide. Okay? All right. Or if we have a quarterback that's not a runner, then we're just going to have to coach them up. Say, hey, we're going to pin that guy inside and bounce the cockeyed thing. But most folks don't want to bounce it. I've read a bunch of articles. I said, we're going to kick him out no matter what. Well, if that's your philosophy, you better have a running quarterback because I got news for you. If that's a big old dude right there and he's better than your guy that night, you may have an H on a 10-game schedule. 9 out of 10 games, he's better than the guy he's kicking. What are you going to do that 10th game when they got a board dog playing a 5-tech out there that's going to sign? He's so good, he's going to sign in December, a month after football season's over. And you're just going to take that loss and let him just, you're going to take that butt whipping all night long? You better have an answer. Okay, the answer is either you got to coach him up to bounce that joker, which most of us don't like, or run the power read play, one I just showed you. All right, this is the same thing. I just blew it up for you. And this is two ideal scenarios for running power. Listen, if they got a backer or a 5-tech, whether it's a DN or a backer that's running his happy butt up the field all night long, and on all the film you've got on him, and you're not running power, you need your head examined. This guy right here is just begging to have power run underneath him. Okay? And that's easy money. If they're a squatter, they better, you're going to squat and anchor that gap right there, sit down in it. You just got to get a stalemate right here and run inside of him. All right. Think of it like the H is an offensive lineman. Pull left, hit left. Okay. Think of it like he's the lead man. Once he takes his steps and turns out, he's now the lead blocker on the buck. And you'll teach it the same way. Once the steps are made, the outside foot, inside foot, and then he pivots to go kick out. He's now the lead man, the lead blocker, the lead guard on buck. And you'll teach it the same way from there. There's been years we didn't have a coach to coach the H's. The H's were just the roamers. They were working pass catching, they were over there with the wide receiver coach. When they were working blocking, they were with the line coach. And sometimes I would say, hey, give me the tackles. You take the guards and the H's over there and work on pulls, work on kickouts, work on wrapping. And the H's work with the offensive line coach on their blocks. They're just doing it from a different alignment. Okay, so look at it like they're an offensive lineman. So that they're kicking out to the left, pull left, kick left, hit left, pull left, hit left. If he does get beat inside, have him stay on the defensive end and wash him all the way down. Okay, not just quit on it. Okay, this is the one where they got a tremendous squeezer and spiller. And he's just going to beat your butt inside, even when you do everything you're supposed to do. Step up, come part of the line, and he's just coming in there blowing stuff up, just wrecking shop. Okay, if the M-Law squeezes and spills to a degree that the H, the kicker, cannot get to his inside number to turn him out, and you didn't call or you don't have the power read, you got to coach him up to stay with him. He's not really going to log him. He's just going to pin his butt, stay on him, and let the wrapping guard see it. I was talking with Coach Cisco from Michigan, and he teaches physics. I said, can a solid go through a solid? And he said, no. And I said, yeah, and that guard can't get through there. So if that guard is wrapping from over here, trying to get here, well, what kind of brain damage does he have if he's trying to run through two guys right here? Just tell him to keep shuffling out and squeeze tight to that like it's a down block. And then your running back should do the same. Instead of running up in here into it, go and right there. I prefer to run the power read if they're able to do that to us. Okay, go back to slide 36.